Hey guys, what's up? It's Andy, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I like to talk about ways to protect yourself and your information online. So on that note, today I want to talk about phishing. And now I know what you mean, phishing with an F, which is good fun. I'm talking about phishing with a PH, which is, not fun. Specifically, I want to talk about phishing emails. What are they, how you can spot one, and how to report it so that you are better protecting yourself from a phishing attack in the future. But now first, let's back up a step. What is phishing exactly? Well, phishing is a type of hacking. Basically, phishing emails are emails designed to harvest information from users, which enables the hackers to either gain control of your computer or obtain valuable information that they can use to hack your accounts, from social media accounts to bank accounts. Now, the principles behind phishing attacks are relatively simple. And by that, I mean that phishing emails are just emails or messages from people pretending to be something or someone else. So each phishing email is trying to convince you that one, the sender is legitimate, and two, that you should take them seriously. That's why a lot of phishing emails try to look like they're from Amazon or the IRS. I mean, whether it's your package delivery or your tax refund, you're going to pay attention, right? Maybe one more than the other. So that's what phishing emails are. Emails sent by hackers that try to seem like they come from a legitimate person or company, so you, the user, are more likely to give them access to information that makes your accounts vulnerable. Now you may ask, how common can this actually be? Well, basically it happens all the time. I mean, in the United States alone, phishing costs around $1.6 billion per year. And that's just attacks that get reported. In fact, in 2019, Google blocked more than 100 million phishing emails for its Gmail users every day. So another good question is that if people are spending so much money to combat phishing emails, then why are they still a problem? Well, honestly, it's because they're still effective. And according to research, something like 68% of phishing emails that get blocked by Google are new variations that their programs haven't seen before. So it's hacking techniques that constantly adapting to get around defenses. Plus, another problem is that a lot of phishing campaigns will target small groups of users, and then these campaigns can last just a few minutes, so it's already over by the time the company can update their IT system. And so let's say you're not sure if you've ever been a victim to a phishing email before, or if you want to double check. Now, a great tool to check your computer for malware is antivirus software. It will scan your computer to flush out anything that shouldn't be there and protects your computer from ongoing vulnerabilities. And I do have a video on my top recommendations for cybersecurity products, and I include my antivirus pick on that video. So I'll link to that in the description, and feel free to check it out if you're looking for an idea of which software is best for you. Or if you're curious about other ways to improve your cybersecurity, it's a great video for that as well. Okay, so you know now that what phishing emails are and how common it is. But how can you really figure out if an email is real or a phishing attempt next time you get something sketchy in your inbox? Keep in mind that phishing emails will usually include a way to steal your information. And that could include a link to a fake website, a phone number for a fake customer service hotline, or an email attachment that would act as a Trojan horse. And there are a few different types of phishing emails as well, and each one has a different strategy. So I'll go over some of the more common types of phishing emails. And after that, I'll go over some specific ways to spot a phishing email and how to report them so that other users don't fall victim to it. And honestly, I just love a good phishing pun. So first up, we have spear phishing. Spear phishing is targeted, researched phishing attacks where the hackers take information from social networks like LinkedIn to build a personalized attack pretending to be a colleague or a friend or a friend of a friend, right? Then we have something called farming, as in fish farming. Get it? Anyway, so farming is really tricky because a hacker will actually intercept or corrupt a DNS server on a website. So it redirects users from a legitimate site to a site of their choice. So the links in your email can seem totally accurate, but then it tricks you into visiting a corrupted site. That's pretty tricky on a technical standpoint. But on the other end of the spectrum, we have something called the simple deception. And, that's fairly self-explanatory. It's just an email with a generic appeal to take a particular action. Think about these old emails about a foreign prince who's about to come into some money, and if you'll lend him $1,000 now, he'll repay you 10 times over in 3 weeks. Sound familiar? I think we all got one of those. Well, the foreign prince story is pretty worn out, but the premise remains. It's a simple call to action from someone contacting you out of the blue, hence the simple deception. And to get back to phishing puns, which I love, next we have the whaling. So whaling is a type of phishing that plays on the ways that businesses are structured. And they do this by targeting people high in a corporate hierarchy, hoping that they're not as tech savvy as as their own IT team. It's catered specifically to high-level individuals, preferably like senior vice presidents who can't figure out how to convert a Word document to a PDF. And I think all of you know exactly who I'm talking about. So now you know some of the more common types of phishing scams. Great. Now, how do you spot them? Well, there are a few ways, fortunately. First, check for unusual attachments. A lot of phishers will add attachments to their emails. These attachments tend to contain viruses, so you should be pretty skeptical about any emails with any unsolicited attachments. Next, just check the email address. A lot of the time, unsafe emails will appear to come from a major corporation, but the actual email address has nothing to do with the company they're imitating. So say you get an email from someone named Amazon Customer Service, but if you check the email itself, it could just have a generic Gmail account. That's a major red flag. Also, check the tone of the email. Phishers want to push you to click on an attachment or a link. So be careful if the tone of the email is really urgent and is trying to pressure you to take action. On that note, always double check outgoing links in an email. A good way of doing that is to check links for minor errors, like would they misspell Verizon or something like that? And just in general, tiny errors are a great way to spot a phishing email. A lot of the time, phishing emails come from all over the world, not just English-speaking countries. Some phishing emails can be full of grammar or spelling errors, which just wouldn't happen if you were getting an email from Verizon or Amazon Customer Service. And finally, consider what the email is asking you to do. Remember, banks and other financial institutions don't ask for financial details or passwords out of the blue. They have protected channels to guard against theft and fraud. So whenever this happens, it's time to flag an email as spam. And you know what? That actually ties really well into my next section. And that is that now that you have the tools to spot a phishing email, what do you do when you identify it? Well, first, and probably most important, never, ever, ever respond directly to the sender. Just don't do it, because all you're doing is confirming to them that you are a genuine email account, which could make your account much more vulnerable in the future. Now, if you're part of a company, the best course of action is to report the phishing attack to your IT team. They can then carry out the virus checks and make sure your security systems are up to date. After all, they can't protect you or your peers from something they don't know about. In fact, reporting a phishing email to all parties involved is one of the best things you can do. So, for example, if a phishing attack is imitating Apple and sends an email to your Gmail account, you can report the attack to both Apple and Gmail, so they're aware of the security threat to their users. And this is true for social media messages too. Plus, platforms like Twitter and Facebook make it really easy to report phishing attempts. So it's a great feature to take advantage of the next time you get a dummy account friend request and a follow-up message asking you for $10,000. And a lot of these companies try to make it easy as possible to report phishing emails. We just have to spot them in the first place. So overall, I think one big takeaway from this video is the knowledge is power. The more you know, the easier it will be to identify and protect yourself from phishing attacks. And now that you know what to look for, you can adapt your own behavior and stop phishing emails from ever catching you off guard. Get it? But I want to hear from you folks. What are some of the best or most outrageous phishing emails you've ever received? I want to hear about it. But also, I want to hear about the ones that almost worked. Let me know in the comments, and I promise I won't use it against you. I promise, though, I may keep it in mind for my own protection, of course. Anyway, I would also say that it's a good idea to add an extra layer of protection to improve your online security and privacy. For example, a VPN extension provides an additional layer of protection to encrypt your data and avoid IP leaks. My favorite one to use is NordVPN. It's affordable, effective, and super easy to use. And if you're interested in learning more about NordVPN, I have an in-depth review linked below in the description. Also, if you'd like to learn more about my favorite cybersecurity products, the ones I think that are most essential to have, I'll link to that video as well. And as I mentioned earlier, this includes all the most essential online security products that the average person would benefit from most for protecting their family's privacy and safety. So that's it for today's video. As always, if you found this helpful, please leave a thumbs up, as that always makes my day. And if you're a new subscriber, welcome to the cyber family. Be sure to let me know what topics you'd like me to talk about next. And I just want to let you know, I really appreciate all of you folks for watching, and I'm excited to hear what you think in the comments below.